Today we continue with our moist cooking methods. Today we talk about poaching. We get a black pen and we write poaching on the whiteboard. Today, poaching is our cooking method that we're going to examine. Here's the question that I'm going to ask you again and again when we poach things. What has less flavor than water?
Air.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing has less flavor than water. So when we poach items, we'll always try and poach items in a flavorful liquid. Poach in stock, poach in broths, poach in juices, poach in white wine. But poaching something in water simply makes the item taste like water and the water taste like something, right? We've poached carrots. You put carrots in liquid, the water is orange, the carrots taste like water. Why not use something flavorful? So anytime we poach something, we try and poach in a flavorful liquid. Here's the problem. Most people think that when you cook something in a moist fashion, when you put something in liquid and you cook it, you turn the heat all the way up, you get that water to a violent rolling boil. You wouldn't cook things in a moist process with the heat all the way pinned any more than you would always put something in the oven at 500 degrees. Any more than you would put something on the stovetop and blast the heat up for saute. We control the heat, right? So boil is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. 100 degrees Celsius, the temperature at which water boils. Water turns to steam hereafter. The problem is that boiling is not a cooking method. You should not be cooking anything by boil in the kitchen. Boiling is not a cooking process because the large, violent motion of the bubbles, the large motion of the boil busts up your product. And at 212 degrees, this violent motion is higher than the temperature we really need to cook. You boil something, you're not going to tenderize it, you're going to make it rubbery. 212 degrees boil, characterized by large bubbles. The next step below is simmer. 185 degrees Fahrenheit is a simmer. Simmer is characterized by soft bubbles. You can tell a simmer because of the soft bubbles around the edge of the pan. You don't see this large, violent motion. It doesn't treat your product so badly. The water stays, the liquid, the flavorful liquid, stays pretty much perfectly still except for these small bubbles around the side. You get a slight convection. Poach is below that. Poach is 165 degrees Fahrenheit or about 74 degrees Celsius. That's right on the target temperature of what we want to cook something, right? So if we're going to cook it in a moist fashion, why subject it to the violent motion when you can figure out almost exactly the temperature that you need to cook something? In a poach, there are no bubbles. You should not see any bubbles rising from the pan, whether they're around the edge or in the middle. In a poach, there's no bubbles whatsoever. What you do see is that very soft convection. The only visible attribute that you can see from a poach is that things kind of float by slowly on a lazy river and they move around the pan and then they come back. So as soon as you start to get soft bubbles around the edge of the pan, you're at a simmer. As soon as you start to get large, violent bubbles, you're at a boil. The best way to cook a protein product in a moist, convective fashion is to poach it. So we're going to take advantage of this method today and we're going to make very typical boil, simmer, poach things. Today we're going to make Eggs Benedict. So this is going to entail poaching eggs. This is a great exercise for future chefs. If I brought somebody in and interviewed them, I never asked them to make me their signature dish. Everybody's practiced their signature dish, they know their signature dish, they can do the signature dish blindfolded. I might ask them a basic skill. So when I interview a chef, I say, poach me an egg. This shocks the hell out of them, you know? Like, what? Don't you want something really fancy on the plate with piled high and fancy? No. Just show me that you can control the heat in a moist fashion and poach me an egg. It's a great chef test. So we're going to do Eggs Benedict today, poached eggs, English muffin, piece of ham, and we'll make a hollandaise sauce as well. A good way to play with an egg. So items, protein products that are poached are usually done so, disadvantage the plate appeal, advantage moisture and flavor. So you poach a chicken breast in chicken stock, you're going to help that with the chicken flavor. Poach a chicken breast in orange juice, you've got an orange chicken breast. So you're able to retain the moisture and add flavor as well. Another advantage is that if you're going to use this in another process. So let's say today which we are going to do, make chicken burritos. So if you make a burrito, chicken burrito, and you grill the chicken breast, you're going to get something caramelized and kind of dried out. Well, now you shred it, you put it in a tortilla, and you bake it again, it's going to get even more dried out. Why use one of the driest process to cook something once that's going to be cooked twice? An advantage of poaching is that you can cook an item, keep the moisture of it, especially if it's not going to be seen. If we're going to shred the chicken then and put it in a burrito in a tortilla shell for a burrito, great way to cook the chicken breast because we get flavor, we keep the moisture. We're going to make some kind of casserole, we're going to make tacos, we're going to make empanadas, we're going to make Indian samosas, we're going to make anything that gets stuffed into something else. Poaching is a great process. Disadvantage, plate appeal. Advantage, moisture, flavor, and it can be used in something else. So Eggs Benedict, chicken burritos, we should have some fish in there. We're going to poach some red snapper as well. Poaching fish is a great, poaching for fish is a great cooking process. Again, why? Retains the moisture, retains the flavor, delicate item that doesn't get busted up. You don't have to scrape it off the grill, you don't have to scrape it out of a saute pan, you don't dry it out in the oven. Poaching is great for fish. We'll do some mixed vegetables, we'll do some dirty rice, maybe we'll do some orzo pasta. But today the real challenge is being able to control the difference between boil, simmer, and poach. Just like the saute, just like the oven. And that's what we're going to be looking for today, that you can tell the difference between those large violent bubbles, those soft bubbles around the edge, and no convection to the liquid. Boil, simmer, poach. Questions? Contradictions, rebuttals. All right? I, of course, have a video on it for you.